Hello and welcome to ACCA F6 UK Taxation. This lesson and the following lessons are brought to you by AccountancyTube.com. Now in this lesson, because it is the first lesson, I will introduce myself a little bit. Then we will talk about a little about the AccountancyTube, the platform by which you will be watching me doing these lectures. And we will also look at the F6 syllabus and how the exam looks like. And in the following lectures, we will look at each of the syllabus areas, which I will list down on the board now. All right. Now, my name is Faisal Farooq. I'm qualified chartered accountant, and I'm teaching taxation, audit, and management accounting subjects from quite some time now. I'm also working in practice with one of the leading accountancy practices in the world. Right. Now, I've worked in audit and taxation as well. I've worked in industry, so I've got a vast and varied range of experience, including teaching. Right now, AccountancyTube. If we talk about the AccountancyTube is a platform through which the students are benefiting throughout the world by watching the free video lectures, free study notes, and then they can register the mock exam as well, which we will talk about in a while. Right. Now this lesson is a F6 lesson, F6 UK version. Now there are different versions depending on which country you are watching me from. There might be a local version of F6 as well. These lectures are only relevant to you if you are planning to sit, or if you have already paid the fee of UK taxation, UK version of F6, right? So you can only watch me if you are sitting for F6 UK. And also these lectures, this and the following lectures are for Finance Act 2017. Right now, if you are going to appear for F6 exam in June 2018 up until March 2019, then that's fine. If you are planning to appear for exams, say for example in December or June 2019, then these lectures won't help you, and you'll have to find the latest lectures, which we will provide hopefully that time. Right then, so AccountancyTube has got its own website. I hope you now know it. You might be watching me on AccountancyTube, or you might be watching me on YouTube. AccountancyTube has got YouTube channel, so you must subscribe to the YouTube channel of AccountancyTube. The reason you should subscribe is whenever the new video will be uploaded on the website, it will first be uploaded on the YouTube, alright? So you will be the first one to know whenever the new video is available, even if it is a syllabus-wise video or if it is an exam tips video. So all the videos will be uploaded on the YouTube, so you must subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss anything new, whichever comes on the YouTube channel of AccountancyTube. Right, we got Facebook page of AccountancyTube as well, so you can like our Facebook page, follow our Facebook page, so that whenever the new updates are available, you don't miss them. So when you have liked our page, so you will be able to follow us what we are doing in our AccountancyTube. All right. Likewise, download the lecture notes, which are provided for free. You can download the lecture notes from our website AccountancyTube.com in the F6 section, or in the respective section, whichever lecture you are, whichever paper you are interested in. Just go to that section and register yourself and download the lecture notes. Lecture notes are free of cost. This lecture and the following lectures, all the lectures are free of cost as well. So we don't charge anything. However, lecture notes and the lectures, these are not the only things which you need to pass the exam. There are a couple of more things as well which I would recommend you must do. One of the important things is to buy the practice and revision kit. Now, practice and revision kit, there are say for example BPP exam kit, Kaplan, get through guides. I don't know, there are many in the market. So you must buy from the approved learning providers, because these are the guys who always cope up with the updated changes. So it will be beneficial to buy from the approved learning providers your exam kit. All right. Now, which exam kit will I be using? I normally take the questions from the BPP exam kit, and I recommend my students to buy the BPP exam kit as well. Reason I ask my students to buy the BPP exam kit is because I will be using the BPP questions. So if you have the exam kit in hand, then it will be beneficial for you because you can find that question in your exam kit anyway. And I will be telling you some questions to do during your homework. So them questions will also be from the BPP exam kit. All right, so that's the reason I asked my students to buy the BPP exam kit. We don't provide any exam kit, so you'll have to buy from bpp.com or whatever, whichever exam kit you are willing to buy. All right, so we don't provide any exam kits. We provide free lectures and we provide free study notes. Now, after watching my lectures and reading through the notes and doing the questions, at some point you might be facing some difficulties. If you have any problems with regards to this subject, you can always email me. My email is given on the notes, and it's my first name, which is Faisal@AccountancyTube.com. So you can always email me. I will try to respond in 48 hours unless I am on holiday. In that case, I won't be able to help you during that specific time. So as soon as I look at the email, as soon as I check the email, I will try to respond to you as quickly as I can. Right? So that was about me. That was about AccountancyTube. Normally what I do is in the interactive sessions when I am interacting with the students, even if it is international class or if it is a local class, I normally ask the students to introduce themselves as well, so that I can have a background of them, that which exams they already passed, if they have been exempted from any exam, so that I can have an idea that what is your background. Now, because this is the recorded version, so I'm unable to know about your background. What papers have you passed? Which background are you coming from? If you have been exempted from any papers or something like that. So it is a little difficult in that case. Now, in the recorded version, what I normally do is I will try to answer the questions from every possible angle. I'll try to answer the questions if you have been exempted. I will try to answer the questions if you have already passed some papers, so that it will be easier for all of you guys wherever you are watching me from. The students who are living in the UK, who are resident in the UK, it will be a little easier for them to understand this paper, because they will be dealing with the stuff on the daily basis. They will be dealing with the UK taxation on the daily basis. Whereas the candidates who are not UK resident, it will be a little difficult for them, because, say, for example, if you're living somewhere in Singapore, it will be difficult for you to understand the things, understand the terms in the UK. It's so obvious, right? But don't worry, I will try to make the things as easier as I can by elaborating and explaining the things excuse me, in as easy language as I can. All right, so you don't have to worry about it as well, right? So that was it about AccountancyTube. That was about myself, and now let's look at the subject, shall we? Now, before moving to the subject, as I said that before, after watching my lectures, doing the questions, and then doing the exam kit, you can always ask me questions. But after end of the session, you can always register for a marker scheme, which is introduced by AccountancyTube. Now, what happens is that after watching the lectures and the notes, I hope that you can pass the exam. After doing enough practice of the questions as well, you can always pass the exam. But I would strongly recommend that you must register the mock as well with AccountancyTube or whoever you want. But with AccountancyTube, what they do is that you'll have to pay the fee, which is £20 per exam, just a nominal fee. So you will receive the mock exam by email. You'll have to attempt the mock exam on the same day or whatever, 48 hours, I don't know how much time do they give you. So after attempting the paper, you'll have to send the scanned answers back to AccountancyTube. Then they send back to me, and I'll have to mark them exams. Now, what is the benefit? When I mark them exam, I'll have to report I will have to report to my boss, giving the report of every student separately. So I will check your marks. I will check your exam. Then I will mark it, and I will be writing the report as well. So identifying your weaknesses, giving you the ways to improve it, and so on and so on. So it will be a comprehensive report specifically designed for you. So I think £20 worth it. Do it. If you don't, or if you can't, then no worries, you can still pass it. All right, but I would strongly recommend that you should opt for the mock exam with AccountancyTube. All right, enough talking. Let's talk about the subject itself. As I said, it is taxation exam, and it is F6 UK version. Now ACCA have changed its name a little bit, so don't worry about the change. Don't worry about the change of the name. They have changed the way we call it. So normally we call it F6 UK taxation, but now they have changed the name a little, but syllabus is exactly the same. So don't worry about that. We will still call it F6 UK taxation, don't worry. All right? So that is taxation. Now what is tax basically? We will talk about it in a detail when we will move to our next lectures. But tax basically means that government's share in an individual's income is taxation. So if I'm earning something, I have to pay something to HMRC. Whoever in the country is earning anything, they have to pay something to HMRC. HMRC is a collection body of taxation in the UK. So eventually we'll have to pay to UK government. So basically what happens is that government is collecting the money from everyone's pocket from their income. So the government has share in everyone's income. So that share is called taxation, right? Now F6 syllabus is divided into different sections. We will look at each section in turn when we move to that. I will just list down the section names. What are the sections in F6? So first of all, it's very, very important, income tax. Very important and very comprehensive. Now income tax, as you can see, the name is income tax, in which we will see that the income which we are earning, income which the individual is earning, how much tax they have to pay on that. Now income could be earned from many different sources. If I am an individual, I can earn income from working for AccountancyTube. I can earn income from doing my own separate business. I can earn income from my pensions. I can earn income from my property. So there are different ways to earn the money, right? From trading income, from property income, from employment income, and so on and so on. There could be so many different ways from which I can earn the income. So how much tax I will have to pay on them income is called income tax. Simple as that. Now this is first section. It is not chapter name. It is a section name. And it has got about 10 chapters into it, right? So I'm just listing down the different sections, different syllabus areas. That is first syllabus area, income tax. So tax which individuals pay on income is called income tax, right? The second one is called the capital gains tax, or you can say it CGT, capital gains tax. Now capital gains tax is a capital asset. Now we will see the classification, we'll see the difference between revenue tax and capital tax in the next video. But for now, just understand that it is a capital tax because we pay it on the capital assets. Whenever I dispose of an asset, say for example, if I have a property, if I dispose of that property, if I make some profit on that, if I make some gain on that, then I will have to pay some tax on that. So that is called capital gains tax. Say for example, if I've got another asset like iPad, for example, if I sell that iPad, then that will also be classified as capital gains tax because that was my asset. Please remember, if I am, say for example, if I am dealing, if I have Apple Store, say for example, local store here in the UK, if I have Apple Store and I am selling iPads and iPhones on a daily basis, then that is my business, right? So if I'm making some money out of it, that is not capital gains tax, that will fall under the income tax because I'm doing the business, that is trading income. Now capital gains tax is a tax which I pay when I sell an asset which I am using, which I own, all right? Not in the course of my business, but during my daily lives, all right? So if I have an iPad, if I sell that iPad, I normally use that iPad, but I'm now selling it. If I make some gain out of it, that will be a capital gains tax, right? Now the third section, also important, inheritance tax, or IHT. And this one is sometimes called CGT, that I call it IT, and that is IHT, inheritance tax. Please remember, whatever I am writing on the board, please make sure you note down, because it is always important and it will be easier for you during the revision session, excuse me, during the revision phase. So it is always better to note down whatever I am writing on the board, right? So inheritance tax, like the name says, if you know the meaning of inheritance, so whatever you inherit when your parents die, whatever the assets and estate you inherit whenever your parents die, you have to pay some tax on that, and that tax is called inheritance tax. Simple as that. Now, say for example, if Mr. A died, and all of his assets eventually will transfer to his kids, isn't it? Unless he make a separate declaration to transfer the asset to someone else. Whoever he is intending to transfer the assets upon his death, the recipient will have to pay some tax on that. So that tax is called, excuse me, that tax is called inheritance tax. Now, the tax will be paid by the donor who is dying, but of course he is died, so he can't pay it. So the one who is receiving the asset, the one who is inheriting the asset, they will have to pay the tax. If they don't have any money to pay the tax, then they will have to sell that property or whatever the asset is. Then out of that, they will have to pay some tax. All right, so that tax is called inheritance tax. So whenever someone inherits something upon someone's death, they will have to pay some tax. That is called inheritance tax. All right. Another important one after the inheritance tax is called corporation tax. That is also very, very important and very comprehensive as well, CT. Now, most of the things in income tax and corporation tax are more or less the same. So we will spend more time, a lot of time of our F6 lectures we will spend on income tax. Now, if we have spent more time on income tax, then we will be we will be comfortable doing the other sections, because most of the stuff will be same, especially in corporation tax. So capital allowances will be the same, trading profit will be the same, and something like, there are lots of stuff which is same in income tax and corporation tax. So I will start with income tax so that we can spend less time on corporation tax, because more or less it's the same. Most of the stuff which we will be dealing with in the corporation tax will be the same. Of course, the tax rates will be different because it is corporation tax. Now, corporation means simply company. So whenever you are doing a business and you are doing quite well, you want to establish that as a company. When you establish that as a company, it means you are doing quite well. Now, HMRC will also know that you are doing well. Then HMRC of course will say that I want some share out of your income as well. All right. So if you set up your business as a company, your company is making some profit. On that profit, HMRC will say, I want some money out of that as well. So that share is called corporation tax. Right? So corporation tax means the tax which companies pay on their profit is called corporation tax. All right. A last section is value added tax. Excuse me for my writing, but it's value added tax. Sorry, let me write it down again. So it's value added tax, or sometimes known as VAT. Now, value added tax is very, very important, and recently UAE and KSA also introduced value added tax in their country, and value added tax is I think it's in almost every country in the world. All right. So value added tax is, like the name says, value add. Now, whenever a value is added, at that point, whenever a value is added in a product or in a service, at that point you will have to pay some tax on that. All right. Now, who will have to pay that tax? The businesses or individual who is selling the goods, who is making the money. Now, say for example, if I have a business in the UK, if I have accountancy practice of my own, then on them services which I'm providing, say for example, if I'm doing an audit or if I'm providing tax services, on them services I have to charge some VAT. All right. Now, that tax which I charge on my normal price is called value-added tax. Now, you might remember that if you go to a petrol pump, whenever you take the receipt, there is a VAT portion on that. So on the fuel as well, you are paying some VAT. So VAT, value-added tax, is a tax which the businesses pay on their sales, not the profits, on their sales. If they are they're selling the services, they will have to pay tax. If they are if they are manufacturing something, they will have to pay tax on that as well. But please remember, on the sales, not on the profits. Corporation tax is on the profits, where the value-added tax is on the sales, not on the profits. All right. So that's value-added tax for you. That's our syllabus of ACCA F6 UK. Now let's talk about the exam itself, how the exam looks like. Now, as you know that from quite some time, ACCA has introduced the computer-based exams. So most of the exams from F5 to F9, which were before as paper-based, are now will be as CBE, computer-based exam. You might already have given some exams as CBE anyway, depending on when you are watching me and doing this lecture. But from this time, when I'm recording this lecture, from now on, almost all of the places in the world, ACCA has introduced the CBE, so you will be sitting this exam as computer-based exam. All right. Now, with the introduction of CBE, as I said, there are different sections in the exam. First section, if we talk about the sections of the exam, so here is F6 exam. Now, different sections. So, section 1, you will be given 15 questions of 2 marks each, and that equals 30 marks, right? 15 questions of 2 marks each, 30 marks. Now it will be simple MCQs questions. There will be a small scenario, and there will be 4 options given to you. You have to choose the correct option out of that. Simple as that. And it is probably the easiest section of the exam. All right. Now number 2 is, second section is again 15 questions, 2 marks each, total 30 marks. But hang on, what's the difference between the first section and the second section? It looks almost the same, both of the sections. Now in the second section, they will give you 3 scenarios. They will provide you 3 scenarios. 3 scenarios will be provided to you, and in each scenario there will be 5 questions. Right then, third section, there will be 3 questions in the third section. So there will be 15 times 2, so 2 questions of the 15 marks each. So it will be big questions, 1 big scenario, and there will be a few requirements to it. So 2 questions worth 15 marks each, and 1 question worth 10 marks each. So altogether 40 marks in this section. And if you total that, 30 times 3, 90 plus 10 equals 100 marks altogether. All right. So that's the question. That's the question paper worth 100 marks. That's how the question paper will look like. Now, as I said, the section 1 will be the easiest one, in which you will be given 15 questions, and all of the questions will be 2 marks each. It will be MCQs questions. It doesn't mean that the following sections will be difficult. If you are comfortable with the syllabus, then of course it will be very, very easy. Now, if we compare this exam style with the previous style, comparing 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then believe me, the previous exam style was quite difficult than this one. Now, with introduction of these sections, whereby you are given MCQs questions, examiner has made your life quite easy with the introduction of this style of questions. Because if assume that you have been given 25 mark questions, a big question, and there are only 4 questions to answer, then it was, believe me, quite difficult at that time. All right, so that's the F6 syllabus for you and exam as well.